Greetings, geeks. Welcome to Low Earth Orbit. I am Rob, Commander Taco Malda. This is Geeks in Space, and I am here today with two of the finest geeks that you're ever going to meet who are going to try to go a half hour without talking about national politics. I got Chris DeBona.
Hey.
Rob Roseboom.
That's me.
Trump. Okay, so...
Whoa.
We made it 37 seconds.
Is he on the show?
30. Yeah, he is.
Like, I love geek stuff. Tremendous.
What's weird is that he talks in all capital letters.
It's true. It's true.
Miller. That's all I'll say.
Well, let's start with, I guess, I don't know if I put up a link for it, but we should at least mention Eddie Van Halen.
Yeah.
The whole media has. My favorite little weird piece of Eddie Van Halen in general was that there was a summer where we had a college student stay in my basement and in 1984 era. And he was a musician and he had electric guitars and keyboards. And I remember he could play like Eddie Van Halen guitar solos and the Jump intro on his synthesizer. And I always thought he was the coolest human being alive. It was Patrick. He was cool. And because he was cool, I thought Eddie Van Halen was cool.
Yeah. We would play 1984, the album, on what we, indelicately called a ghetto blaster back in the day in elementary school while we played kickball. And that was, that was a very important part of the day. Where we would listen to 1984 like 3 times a day, the entire album.
So I listened to Van Halen, obviously. But I'm just realizing now, what was the song Panama about? Was it about the canal? Was it about the handover? Was it about, Carter's decision to allow them to become an autonomous, take ownership of the canal? I'm baffled.
I actually think it was about the papers, right? They got that information early. And yeah.
That makes sense.
Sure. Why not?
I mean, Eddie Van Halen was an inventor. He has many patents.
True.
Wasn't he the creator of the tremolo bar or whatever?
Not exactly, but he was instrumental in it. I believe he made improvements to the Floyd Rose style trem.
I don't think. Did you have a story up about him?
I didn't. Because the thing that was in the channel.
It's not really geeky, I guess.
Well, the thing in the channel, I just went through the channel and posted everything that we had there, but all we had in there was him as an animated GIF, swinging from the vines.
Animal.
No, I liked me the EVH. You know who was really into the Van Halen was Dave DiMaggio.
Oh yeah,
he was
Kurt's brother.
Yep, he was and my roommate and the fifth block stacker for a while.
That's true.
He went to the concerts and we listened to Van Halen albums all the time in the dorm room.
Yeah, I remember when I was a kid, people would get exercised over Hagar versus David Lee Roth.
Oh, for sure.
Like more important than it really was.
Come on, man. Van Hagar. That's not Van Halen. That's not my Van Halen.
I can't drive 55.
No.
But yeah, I sort of, everyone was super into David Lee Roth's sort of ego and really his id, and how he expressed it. And they're like, Van Halen's better off without David Lee Roth, but Sammy Hagar is kind of a boring guy. Yeah. I remember spending way too much time talking about Van Halen and Sammy Hagar and David Lee Roth, Sure. And I'm a little older than you guys, right? So, I was in high school in the 80s, and yeah, we spent too much time on this band. Doesn't mean I didn't like Hot for Teacher. The video was very scandalous as a Salt Lake City boy. Sure. But I'm like, dude, what is going on here? Anyway,
it is interesting that the band was successful with both lead singers, though, right?
Yeah.
That's
I
something
think
you
so.
don't usually see.
You don't.
So.
And David Lee Roth went on to have a fine career, solo too, which is something you also don't see all that often.
And Sammy Hagar, isn't he the one that sells all the tequila now?
Yeah, well,
Indeed.
no, I think it's tequila, and he owns like half of Baja. It
Yeah,
seems like
a lot of it.
when you're down in Cabo San Lucas, it's like Sammy Hagar Incorporated. Is my understanding. I've never actually been to Cabo Wabo, or had tequila from Mr. Hagar's, filtered through his hair, but yeah,
No, you
good
only
on him.
drink. You
Everyone
only
was
drink
really
Picard
successful.
liquors.
Picard wines, Chateau Picard, 2496 or whatever.
Classiest.
But the classiest of pop culture related imbibables. I haven't tried Aviation Gin. They have great ads, but I don't care.
I really like the Richard Cheese version of Jump. And in fact, that's the version that I learned how to play on my guitar. So if ever you needed me to perform a Van Halen song, it would be the Richard Cheese version of Jump.
Yeah.
Might as well jump.
I prefer the Richard Cheese version of many songs. So
right. All right. So here's a weird one, but it made me happy. There's Cube Doom. Which is you can basically launch a virtual machine running Doom, and then you can use it to kill demons, which represent processes in your Kubernetes. And that just seems like something that's been around and existed in different forms over the years, and that just makes me happy that it exists.
Well, you remember the file system Doom, where you go around deleting files by shooting them,
The nice thing is that in Unix, everything is a daemon.
Okay, wow, this is something. I'm just picturing Cube Cuddle being Cube Cuddle. I'm gonna call it Cube Cuddle because it's cuter. Being run in the background as you're shooting stuff, and then it's coming back. Here's the 64 character identifier, and then it's like. There it is on screen.
I like that.
Go murder it.
The Kube Doom thing just tells you the cheat code so that you can run through walls. Because if you actually are trying to use this thing to go shoot a process, you don't really want to actually mess with the maze. You probably want to just go, shoot the process.
Shoot the process.
Shoot the process.
Shoot the glass.
Rob, I shared the bison and wolf population thing for you. I wasn't sure if you had opinions on that. It was just, I thought that was neat.
Oh, there was a wolf thing. So I would point out, do you know how big these animals are? They're really, really big.
Thanks, Rob.
Yeah, you're welcome. Let me know when you're done, Chris.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's cool. So you wouldn't believe how big bison are. No, I haven't read the story, so I don't know.
Fair enough. Just that seems something that you might enjoy. There was a dude who built.
Well, what's it about?
They're talking about repopulating Europe and getting large spaces. You and I have talked about like megafauna a lot in the past, and like large open spaces in Europe. And this is all in kind of that people trying to do it. Okay. They talked about how Poland was more open to it, and there's a lot of like weird sort of psychology things connected to like what you grew up with, thinking it's normal and not. It's
well, this is what Ted Turner is trying to do with the West.
Yeah,
he almost single-handedly
very successfully
is buying huge swaths of land and trying to get herds. Not we'll never have herds the size that they were in the past, but still making substantial herds of bison that could travel across the continent. So
I think this is what who's the Epic Mega Games dude? Isn't that what he's doing too?
Sweeney. No, he's super into forests. He doesn't. I haven't heard about him being into megafauna. So.
Oh, I'm sorry, but he was in the same thing, buying large chunks of land.
He buys
to let
huge
it go back
amounts
to
of. I think it's lodgepole pine and that whole North Carolina timber thing. You know,
Yeah.
he's trying to preserve the original forest. I mean, it's, you know, say what you will about Epic Mega Games and Fortnite and the Apple lawsuit, the guy does spend some money on some trees. You know, so I put up a picture here because I thought it was important. This is wolf poop.
Oh, is it furry?
That's what I can't tell. Like
it
seems
is when
like a
they eat
weird
fur.
thing. Oh, yeah.
Ew. I've thought it over, and I'm not going to eat fur anymore. I don't want my poop to look like that.
Yeah, I think the furry stuff is the poop, which is weird, right? Maybe we shouldn't reintroduce wolves. They have weird poop.
Yeah, I don't trust
Well, generally they'll pick the hair off a certain part of the body and then make entrance there, like the belly. Big cats do the same thing, except they generally, you know, they have a mechanism for coughing that back up, which you see in domestic cats now.
Yeah. There you go. That's wolf poop. I knew that you would want to see the picture of it.
Super gross.
The thing I was going to say before is that they're very large animals. Wolves are scary big. Like, they're not like little puppy dogs. They're not chihuahuas. They're not even Labrador size. They're like big bada big. So that's all I want to say. And bison, those things are monster big. Like, they're taller than cars. They're huge.
Yeah. And those are the little bison. We used to have bison, like, not quite twice the size, but another third taller.
Yeah. Kind of crazy.
So the next one on the list that I had was the built-in lay-down desk, which I just wanted to show you guys just in the... I feel like this is what happens if Rob, me, has an idea and then asks Rob, you, to hire half-assed construction in order to build that idea.
Now, to be honest, some of that bracing work does look like something half-assed construction would do, but we're a little bit cleaner than that. like obviously he did not measure twice and cut once at the top there.
If you scroll down, I think there's either a video or an animated GIF showing him getting in and out of his contraption.
Oh yeah,
and that
I only made it this far.
That's the funny part to me is watching him get in, because it's super janky and it's. I mean, I groove on. I'm all for any kind of weird hack like this. Whatever, you do you, man. Have fun. But like, he also doesn't have a mouse because he hasn't figured out how to get a mouse yet. So I was like, I'm gonna get a trackball, but I'm like, that looks like it's gonna fall and kill you.
And to be honest, this does bring up memories of the movie Burn After Reading. Let's just put that up there.
Yeah. Is he as handsome as a Brad Pitt?
Or a George Clooney?
Or a George
probably. It looks like he's got that scruffy, sort of lanky, good-lookingness, right?
Well, should you happen to stumble upon this video, sir, we find you as handsome as Clooney or Pitt, but perhaps not with the same level of engineering prowess.
Well, here's the thing, you know, do you remember I've told you about the crazy person who emails me all the time and how I sort of admire his productivity, even though I'm afraid of him? Yeah, you know, I only have one that's been consistent for 20 years, you know. Anyway, but like this guy, you know, yeah, it's janky AF, super jank, right? Mega jank. But he built this thing with like a screwdriver, a crappy old chair,
he's got like a jigsaw,
some spare wood, and like a jigsaw and a handsaw.
Right yeah.
You know,
good on him.
I got to tell you, you know, there are people out there who are like, oh, you know, blah, blah, blah. If I were going to do this, blah, 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 blah. But you know what? This guy did it.
He did.
This guy put pencil to paper. Yep. He sawed. He said, I got some crappy wood. I want a cool desk. You know?
I guarantee you there were no drawings involved.
Not once.
It's in here, Chris. It's like a steel trap.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what? The guy, you know, I admire him.
Your point
I
is
love nerds like this. These are my people.
Yeah.
I won't hear word boo about that.
For sure.
You know,
I have had discussions with my wife on several occasions about how I really want to connect my monitors to the ceiling. And that has been repeatedly shot down for many obvious reasons. All right.
Well, my camera is sitting on a camera arm, which is attached to a gantry that I built using
afterwards.
Okay,
in one
that's
segment
fine.
because I'm recording it, and we're back live now.
Okay, great.
There must have been a
Huh.
problem.
You think like there was a network problem?
Well, it wasn't on my end because we never broke up the conversation. So it's either Restream or it's got to be Restream because that's where I'm connected right now. Well, welcome back, geeks. You're still
It's
watching
interesting
us.
because if you check out, I have a quality control stream up now, and there was no break.
Oh, good.
Anyways, back.
Well, it said
to,
it dropped 900 frames, so a few seconds.
Yeah, I'm sure we stuttered or something.
Oh well. So okay, you would be stunned to know that police are now requesting for more data from smart devices, and the just shocked, right? But what I did like is and I'm not sure if the comment is from the article that I linked or it was from a different one, but the story was something to the effect of, are you aware that this might be the first time that the subpoenaed records from a in-home smart device might be used to convict someone of murder? And her response was something to the effect of, I was hoping that we would be able to use this evidence to prove them innocent. And I thought, oh, America.
Mark. Okay, Google, have you ever had a subpoena put against me?
Sorry, I don't know how to help with that. Here are other things you can try.
I would be interested in what other things he suggests.
Okay,
Well, I could
Google,
go back
turn
there,
off
but
lights.
You have to realize
you're
I'm
right,
using
headphones.
headphones.
So am I. Don't try it. Okay. Anyway, it's a good article on the state of that. I set off mine. She's yelling at me with an Australian accent from the other end of the room. You know, I realize now.
For Australian?
What's
That's
that?
Great.
Yeah.
You have it set for an Australian accent?
Yeah. All of my devices are set to random accents. It gives me joy.
That's wonderful.
Anyway, the article's nothing big, but they have a graph showing the growth in subpoenas over time, and it's just an interesting thing. We talk about this in my house a lot because there are a number of devices.
Crime.
Because of the crimes, the constant crimes. Well, we have several devices that are like muted because of this.
Oh my god!
It's not exactly the same, but I do watch a lot of 48 Hours, the cop show about solving murders and stuff. And by far and away, the most useful tool they have is looking at people's Facebook feeds.
Oh yeah.
From getting people's pictures to seeing what people tag stuff, it's just, they do almost no investigating anymore. They just, as soon as they find a name, the first thing they do is look at their Facebook.
Yep.
So I have to tell you, there's a moment, I don't even know what season or what year it was, but here, there's a scene where the sort of juvenile delinquents in The Simpsons are like, videotaping this crime spree was the best idea we ever had. And the number of times I think about this clip because of, modern age, people are like, hey, hopping in an Uber after robbing the bank was a great idea. Or, like all the cameras on ATMs, there's like 4 of them pointing at every other direction. And it's like, ripping off this ATM while not wearing a mask was a great idea. I'm just like, who are? And here's the thing, right? I think I've ranted about this before. Actually, this is not for you guys. It's not for Rob and Rob. It's for the criminals that watch our show. Okay, I'm just going to give you a tip.
You don't know me.
The average amount of money made from a bank robbery in the United States is $7,396. You can do 20 years in federal prison for that. Let me tell you something. That's not a lot of money, right? Go to school, get a job working for the bank, and then rip the bank off like a good old-fashioned white-collar criminal. You'll at least take more money in return for your 20 years.
Or, sell printer toner.
There you go. Nice transition. Nice transition. Yeah. Like this fine Austin library employee accused of reselling printer toner. And how much money did he make? It was a lot.
Wait, what now?
Like 1.5 million or something, like an insane amount of money.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
We're in the wrong racket, guys. We got to get out of the podcasting game and we got to get into the reselling library toner racket.
Was he working? He was working for the library, and he was basically taking stuff out of the back of it and selling it on eBay or something.
Yeah,
Fell off a
yeah,
cart.
he was reselling. He's reselling the toner from the library.
Wow.
That's a good one. Okay.
First of all, toner's way too expensive.
For
know?
sure.
You can never do that with paper clips or rubber bands.
Oh, there's a picture of him. Here he is carrying toner.
Look at all that.
At least, you talk about when you're in Oz, or like the crime thing, the dropping the soap joke, because you're a pedophile, it's bad for this. That guy, he's going to have no problem in jail. They're just going to, whatever. You stole toner. You go lift weights. I don't care.
Oh, I take it back. It was 1.3 million, not 1.5. So.
Wow.
Oh, well, then it's totally okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's below federal weight for.
Well, and
for
1.3 million.
Toner.
I mean, the box that he's carrying is probably only like $1.1 million worth of toner. That stuff's expensive, but all right.
Well, okay. So I have a really important question because I actually did not read the article, as you might imagine. Was it just the toner, or was he reselling the drums as well? Because that's expensive.
Rob,
and like other parts, fusers.
Rob, did you share the story about F1? I saw it a bunch of people, the Honda story. I wasn't.
Oh, the Honda one?
No, that was Chris, I think.
I wasn't sure the significance of that.
So what it is maintaining an F1 team is really expensive.
I assume it costs $100 million just to like show up at a couple of races.
The yearly budget for Honda was 165 million just for their F1 team, not for their Formula E team, which is an electric version of the F1.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so they're like, we're not getting anything out of this. They don't have a big sports car brand. I mean, sure, the NSX and its iteration exist, but honestly, they don't sell very well.
Right.
In the grand scheme of supercars, they've never made back their money on this whole F1 thing. So they're like, why are we doing this? We're Asian. We don't care. I don't know. That was probably not that they were probably cutting a lot of costs, and they couldn't figure out why they were doing this thing anymore. So
I've never understood. I mean, honestly, I have a really hard time with NASCAR and with F1 too, because they have so many rules about what makes for your car engine to make it fair and to try to get it to like the point where it's about the skill of the driver. And honestly, I don't care about that. I care about the skill of the engineering. So let's get rid of the rules. Like, give me a volume or a mass, and then say that's your limit. Go. Like,
so for NASCAR, that's one thing, because they do have like envelope definitions and weight requirements, and then you do with that what you will. Same thing in F1, right? This is why the Mercedes split turbo with the torque tube going between them was really innovative, because they managed to do it with a lot of less weight than previous split turbos, right? So there's a lot of cool stuff going on, but to what end? But I'm sorry, Rob, you were about to say something.
No, I was just going to say that they used to that's the way it used to be.
Yeah.
There used to be very few rules, so then it was about how much horsepower you could get in, and then they had dynasties that just won and won and won. So they did end up changing almost all racing now, so that virtually all the vehicles are the same, right?
Yeah.
So it is much more geared towards drivers now than it used to be. Occasionally there'll be some neat engineering things like Chris was talking about, but then they just get copied.
Yeah, and they're incremental. They're not innovative like in the big sense. So I got 3 stories left. One is a quick one. I put up the oral history of Best in Show, which is, for my money, the best of those movies, because I consider Spinal Tap to be in a different bucket, because that was more of a Reiner thing than a Chris Guest thing. But it's interesting. They've got a lot of fun little anecdotes from different members of the cast, and it's actually, if you're interested, that is like one of my favorite movies of all time.
Why is my screen? I'm having such a hard time with focus today.
Ooh, yeah. Here, you should try I don't know. What is not Claritin? I'm trying to think of what a good medicine would be to help you with your focus. Oh dear God. Yep, that one.
I did it.
Okay, so I got 2 left that we could actually legitimately talk about.
Okay.
The first one is the UK Excel spreadsheet thing where they accidentally lost 16,000 cases because they were using Excel to maintain their database.
Yeah.
Well, so it's not Excel's fault. It's whoever was
No.
operating it. I mean, it's
Used the wrong
I mean,
tool
come
for the
on.
job. But I mean, this is easy to understand, right? You start it, when there's 10,000 rows, and then someday. I mean, this happened to us back in the day, if I remember correctly. The access log, we had to update the number of bits in the key. I think maybe the comments table we had to do that one time. Maybe the user table. There were a couple of different times in Slashdot's history where we had to change keys from 16-bit to 32-bit or whatever in order to make up for something or other over the years. So it's not insane, and you can imagine that a project like this, you don't really expect that there's going to be this many people that are going to die from a pandemic in 2020 in a modern industrialized nation with competent leadership. So anyway, that's a funny story. It's been everywhere. But the story that I'm actually a little bummed that we didn't record like when I posted this story originally, because it's about the smart chastity belt. Because
this one here.
Now every single person on Twitter, this story was up a while ago, and everybody on Twitter is talking about this now. But unsurprisingly, I guess surprisingly, first of all, the fact that people are connecting their sex toys to the internet is a whole different scary thing, because I got my light bulbs connected to the internet, and that causes a whole lot of problems to begin with. Just light bulbs. I can't imagine.
Are you having
sex
a lot of
toys.
light bulb problems?
Always having light bulb problems. My house is like
Seriously?
My house is like a nightmare of technology. It's a Black Mirror episode in here.
Is it a light switch rave all the time, being controlled by randos on the internet? I mean, what's the actual problem you're having?
I mean, with my light bulbs in particular, this is not entertaining for sickness.
I'm sorry. How many people do you think listen to this damn show?
It's just sickness.
It's
So
just
okay,
about us. I want to know.
And of them, how many do you think have remote controlled light bulbs?
well, that's not super.
They
insane.
all do. None of them have the chastity belt, but they all have the light bulbs. I think this is completely irrelevant.
Okay, so
I want to know why you're anti.
I have 2 Hue hubs. And the reason that I have 2 Hue hubs is because over the years I keep accumulating more bulbs, and also you can connect LED strips to them if you're willing to jump through some janky hoops. Now, if you have 2 Hue hubs, one of the reasons you have to do this is because once you get over like 40 or 45 bulbs, Hue hubs start getting very slow. And at some point it will stop allowing you to add new bulbs. Now, don't get me started on how this integrates with Google Home, because it's a freaking nightmare. But when you have this, and let's say you want to move a bulb from one hub to the other, but you delete it from the app first, you have to get API keys and type JSON into text fields in order to move a bulb from one hub to the it is the act of maintaining a relatively large installation of smart bulbs is so stupid, and I hate it. Anyway, where did we go? Sex toys. So this is a chastity belt connected to the internet, and
Is it?
And people are now concerned that hackers will lock your junk up. That's a thing that we have to worry about now. Now, my solution would be to not put, chastity belt on my junk.
Put that on, right? Yeah.
I don't know. There's so many like lines you have to cross. One, you have to want to have your equipment locked up. 2, you want to give someone else control of that lock. 3, you want to put that lock on the internet so they can control it from anywhere. 4, you have to think any of these steps is a good idea. And now, it's like, and I'm not trying to kink shame here. All right. It's not what I'm doing here. But it just seems like there are so many bad ideas that lead to, and then a hacker gets a hold of your DOM's account, and then they realize that they can control your junk.
Oh yeah, it's fine.
I'm just like,
Yeah,
I'm like, how do you
no,
get there?
the only way this could be a worse idea is if you included a heating element for the winter to keep you warm. You know?
So in 1995, let's say, somewhere in that ballpark, I got my
You're an
first.
innovator, Mr. Roseboom.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is hot, baby. Please turn it off. I got my first static IP. Connected to my first computer, connected to, I don't know, a 486-100 in 1995 or something. And one of the things that I did with my static IP is I had a web page where you could type a message and it would drop it into my, to my console log. You know, because in 1995, if you're a Unix person, you have a window on your screen continuously tailing your logs. Because that's what you do. And that's when I learned the very important lesson that you don't connect things that you care about to the internet. Because people started sending very dumb things to my internet. And this is pre-Slashdot too. This is just like my friends or people who want to download like Enlightenment modules or something. Whoever's reading my computer science cluster homepage in 1995. So yeah, I think we can all agree that if you want to wear a chastity belt, that's cool. That's your jam. Have at. If you want, I guess I just realized. So you know how? Have you heard about the financial domination thing? Have you heard about this?
Yeah. It's
So-
all very distasteful.
Sure, don't shame people for what their jam is, but maybe this is maybe that's the logical next step for this, which is your dominatrix locks your chastity belt, and that's just part of your punishment because you've been a bad boy. She hacked into it. Anyway, that story.
I think that's the point, right?
There is a story we haven't covered, and I can't really talk about it.
Oh, you don't want to talk about monopolies?
No, I can't talk about the Oracle case because I've managed to not be on the stand for 10 years, and I don't want to be. But it's currently before the Supreme Court, and they're talking right now about QWERTY keyboards.
Really?
In the context of the Oracle v. Google case. So,
Well, when they bring up Dvorak, we know it's all over.
yeah.
We've achieved peak monopoly power. Only I may order my keys. All right. Do we have anything else on our list? Because I'll talk about monopolies all day, but I don't think that that would be fun for a third of the people on this call.
Well, it's not about. We're just talking about software in this case. Let's just, in interfaces and whether it's okay to create compatible things and reverse engineer interfaces. I mean, that goes to the core of this case, in my opinion. So, and that can't be something that I can picture you being against. Like, I mean, open source exists because people wanted to make compatible things.
I'm a pretty big fan of being able to open up the hood of the car that I bought.
Right? I mean, this is why I don't own a BMW. Because you have to take it back to the dealer to get a new battery because they lock them to each other. And so the battery's like $795 to replace a battery. That's ridiculous.
I also do not own a BMW.
That's why my sister now has the BMW.
So you gave it away. That's what happens. Got it.
No. We inherited it from my mom, and I was thinking about giving it to Franny as a car that she could, drive. But of course, she's a kid. You don't give a kid a 5 Series. They're too expensive to fix when they get in that first rack, right? So, yeah. Anyway, long and short of it, my sister has it after I did all the repairs. So,
do you happen to remember a time where you could replace a headlight without having to take the bumper off as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, none of it is user friendly anymore.
Nope.
Yeah.
We live in the Apple era of automotive.
It's not about user friendliness. It's about accessibility to be able to do the repair. Because, if I have to, I can remove a bumper, right? Or honestly, I want to take it to Helmings. They've always been great. It's my local shop. They've been great. They've always done great work. They've been reasonably priced, and they stand behind their work. Do you know how hard that is to find in the Silicon Valley? Where most people can barely make rent on their dumb shop, but they've been around for like 60 years. They're great. I just want to take my cars to them. I don't want to take it to the dealer. right?
And it's
So.
vendor lock-in.
And it sucks.
And it sucks. And that's the future. So cool. And in no way do monopolies and in no way do monopolies make that happen up and down the hardware and software stack, or elections. Let's see. I don't have anything else on my list. Do you guys? We can. We're at the 36-minute mark. We can talk about
wrap it up,
Trump, or we can go home.
Nah, what are you gonna say about Trump that it hasn't already been said?
I mean, he crashed the stock market by just being mean to the Dems yesterday, right?
Well, it was him saying that that there would be no stimulus until he wins the election. So there you go. And not that there would be no negotiations, that it wouldn't happen until he wins the election. So
yeah, he's
interesting.
He's a special flower, that one.
And of course, Stephen Miller tested positive for COVID.
Yeah.
That worm.
He might be the worst. He might be the worst one. And there's some pretty scummy people that work there.
For sure.
The Kellyanne Conway, she's trouble too. I feel bad for some of them. Like, you know who I feel the worst for? It's like the generals. Like, you worked your whole career, you struggled, you worked again, there was adversity in your life, and you rose to the top of your industry, and now you have to work for this chuckle fuck.
Yeah. Well, it's 2 to 14 days, right? So there could be some more coming on at the end of this week. Me. So, yeah.
This ain't over. But also, I no longer believe that they're going to tell us. I think that we're at the point now where the only way that we're going to know about anybody else is if reporters luck into it, because they're getting better at the cover up. Well, goodbye, Chris DeBona.
Goodbye, you two.
Goodbye, Rob Roseboom.
See you guys.
This has been episode 526 of Geeks in Space. I'm Rom Commander Taco Malda. You should join us tonight at 8 o'clock. We're watching Search for Spock, and it's going to be boring?